Hello friends, and welcome back to Enterprise Architecture. Last episode in Sky Revolutions, we made a lot of progress with our auto sifting of our ingredients. You can see that behind me. We actually went a couple of steps back to get to that. We're using clicking machines on those sieves to get a bunch of those other metals we couldn't get through our standard sifting machines and create. So that's getting us things like lead and aluminum and silver, all of those other missing ingredients. With that ready to go, we are now able to expand our base and move into some other machines. I think we're going to be getting into a little bit of a Pneumaticraft today, maybe some thermal expansion. Who even knows where we're going to land, but we've got a lot of work to do. So with no further ado, let's dive right in. This is where we left off last episode. We'd actually made a bunch of thermoelectric generators and we had made a bunch of accumulators to store our electricity, but we had kind of skipped over doing a metal press, and now it's about time to deal with that. So over here, we want to build our first actual metal press. And you know what? We can actually tear all of this down as well because we don't need it anymore. We are generating power from our thermoelectric power generator. Now, the metal press we are actually going to have to create from scratch here because we don't have all the ingredients for that. Let's go ahead and add it to our shopping list. Metal press. This is an immersive engineering multi-block. And to make that, let's see here, what is it going to require? Oh, it's not going to tell me there. Let's add this one instead. We'll remove that one. There we go. We need a redstone engineering block. We've got that. Pistons we can make easily. The heavy engineering block is going to be complicated. We are going to need steel mechanical components for that. I don't have those. Iron sheet metal, we do not have either. And electrum ingots. Electrum, I believe, is just gold and silver, so I think we can get to that pretty easily. Let's get started on that first, because that's going to take a little while to smelt. Where do we have our silver? Right there. So let's do 4 silver. You know what? While we're doing this, let's just go ahead and do up a bunch. We're going to do 4 ingots of raw silver. These, then, we're going to combine with our gold. 1, 2, 3, 4. And I think we actually have to cook this before we can use it. So let's come back over here to our fan setup. We are going to drop those in there, and we need to turn our fans on with that switch right there. That should very quickly turn those into silver ingots. Any second now. Yeah, there we go, silver ingots. Okay, turn that back off. Now we come over here to our alloy kiln. We're gonna drop both the gold and the silver in there and let that start cooking. We are gonna go ahead and grab up a bit more coal while we are over here so that we can top that up. Instead of just using our charcoal, let's replace that. Perfect, and there's our first electrum ingot. So that's going to be the core of that heavy engineering block. The next thing that we are going to need is steel for those steel mechanical components. Now, I had been cooking some steel previously, so we can use that. And, oh, you know what? It looks like we need some more coke, and we have not been making coke for a while. So let's drop in a stack of coal into the coke oven as well while we are over here in the neighborhood, because we are always going to be running out of that. Great. And now we can come back over to our engineer's table and use this to make our mechanical components. Oh, actually we need copper as well. So let's grab a stack of copper. Wonderful. And eventually we'll get a more efficient way to make these, I think. Maybe this is the most efficient way. I could be wrong with that. Oh, we need steel plates. Ah, okay. Well, I'll tell you what, we are going to go ahead and make ourselves a bunch of steel plates. I think we are going to need 2 steel plates per component, and that means we need 8 steel plates all day for that heavy frame. So we're going to go and throw that down on our smushing machine. There we go, just thwomp that out a little bit. Yes, it's called the mechanical press, but I will call it whatever I want. There we go, 8 of those, wonderful. We could have used our engineer's hammer for that, but you know, I'm always worried about durability. So let's go ahead and grab our 4 steel mechanical components, and with that, we should be able to then make our heavy engineering block, just like so. Oh, you know what we're still missing is our sheet metal. Let's see here, do we have enough iron plates to make a bunch of sheet metal up? Let's see, I think it's just like this. No, it's not. Okay, let's see here. Well, how do we make sheet metal in this pack then? Let's see here. Heavy engineering block, sheet metal. Oh, right. We have to make the little pattern with it, right? That's cute. Okay, 2, 3, 4. Oh, and you know what? We only need one of those because that's all we have to do. So let's do this and we'll do that. Perfect. And we got 4 of those. That's a pretty good bargain. I'll take it. All right, so now we need to make a piston. Pistons are easy. Piston done. And conveyor belts. We need leather or ersatz leather. How do we make leather? Well, we don't have any of these things. We don't have rotten flesh. Okay, so that's not going to happen. What if instead we make ersatz leather? What's made for that? Tough fabric and honeycomb. Okay, so we need honeycomb, and I can't think of an elegant way to get that, but I believe, in theory, if we plant a sapling near to flowers, that is supposed to, not positive, grow or have a chance of giving us a beehive in it. So maybe what we do is we grab up some bone meal, we grab up some saplings, and we start planting a whole bunch of flowers, and then we use those flowers potentially to make the beehive spawn. I don't know. Let's try it out. I'm not really sure at this point if this is gonna work. All right, so let's grab ourselves a bunch of our bone meal. I think we need at least 2 flowers for this to work. So let's go ahead and put down some flowers in a nice little pattern here. Let's see, dandelions, we're gonna put, let's put it right here. So these are gonna go around it like so. And then if I put a sapling, there's a chance we will get a beehive in this. That did not give us a beehive. Okay, no biggie. Let's just try this a few more times and see whether or not we can get one to generate. All right, there we go. It only took us about 5 minutes to get a bee here, maybe a little less, but that does mean that we now have 2 bees. And we can then use those bees to get beehives, or to create beehives, I believe. So I think what we have to do is actually create a beehive with frames. So let's see here, beehive. Yeah, if we had honeycombs, we could just make one, but I think we need the beehive frame instead. Oh, that is the wrong recipe. Okay, hold on. Let's get rid of that thing. What we need to do instead, and I can't... Oh yeah, you can't do alternate recipes on this particular table. That's annoying. Okay, so let's go to our regular crafting table, and we're gonna surround this with sticks, and we want the beehive frame. So give me 3 of those. Great, and then I can use that to make a beehive. Perfect. And then I believe I should be able to attract bees into a beehive. I've never been particularly good with bees, so we're gonna have to figure that one out too. Okay, I think I just need shears to be able to get our honeycomb out of that, but they do need to first be able to produce a bunch of honey. So somewhere around here, I had accidentally made some living wood shears. There we go, we can use that. And this seems like a lot of work just to get leather. There's probably a better way, and I'm sure y'all will leave in my comments exactly a nice recipe of how I'm screwing this up. But for now, we're just gonna do this. I'm gonna go ahead and plant a few more flowers. I think I have plenty. I don't think I need more than this, but you know, I'm still thinking in vintage story rules. So, you know, the more the merrier. Okay. Now, I am going to make myself another one of those campfires as well. Campfire, just a regular one will do, just like that. Because this way we will be able to gather the honey from the beehive without having to worry about being stung. This should just work just like that. All right, we already got a second hive with more bees. That's about all we could ever hope for, is to get bees really, really rapidly. So this is going great for us. And you know what? I'm really liking this. Maybe this bee will come over here, and I can get you to be lovey-dovey, and we can breed more bees. So as soon as this one comes out, we're gonna go ahead and try and get more bees. Actually, you know what? Let's just go wild. All of you just go be wild. There we go. Baby bees. Okay, so my bee breeding program has accelerated already. This is going great for us. Well, the bad news is that our bees are now escaping, and that's less than good. They're falling off the platform. I am going to go ahead and shear this to get my honeycomb, but we do need to rapidly expand this platform before we start losing all of our bees to space. Maybe I can lure this bee back up, but this is getting a little touch and go, y'all. Come on back. Come on back. There and there. All right, y'all do your thing. I'm going to go outside and leave you to it. But for now, we now have 6 honeycomb, and that is a good place to be. And now we can finally get back to making that ersatz leather that we wanted. So do we have any fabric left? The tough fabric? No. And we don't actually even have that much industrial hemp left. So let's clear out our inventory real quick, and then we will go and get a whole bunch more of our hemp. We can do that right here. There we go. So we've got a bunch of hemp plants already. This might be something to consider automating sooner rather than later, but I do think to automate this, we need machines that are not available to us yet. We don't have the right ingredients. So let's just keep doing this for now. And now we should be able to take that, wrap this around a bunch of sticks, and get ourselves a bunch of tough fabric. Great. And then with that, we should be able to wrap it around our honeycomb, and that gives us a bunch of ersatz leather. Perfect. That was a lot of work for a simple ingredient. All right, 8 conveyor belts now incoming for us. We will take that. And now I do believe we have just about everything for our metal press, so we can go and set that up. All right, so I think the metal press is relatively straightforward if I remember correctly. I think we just do a pair of metal steel scaffolding there. We're going to put our Loc log on top of that. We're going to put a heavy engineering block on top of that, cut that down, and then we are going to place the piston while looking up at it. That's also the wrong way. Sure, we can get this. There we go. Okay, now all we need is the belts. These belts just have to be going in the right direction. There and there. And then we just whack the middle block with a hammer and we have a metal press. Perfect. Okay, so let's go and put our connectors on top, just like so. And then we use our insulated coil off of the connector into our relay. Perfect, and this is now getting power, as you can see. Good to go. Now that means we are ready to start stamping things almost. And the reason why we are saying almost is because we still need to make up our presses. So, immersive, yeah, here we go, these things. So we need these metal presses, and for that we need an engineer's blueprint with at least an iron plate. Hey, blue dye is easy for us. We just go over here and grab 3 pieces of lapis. We're going to convert all of those into blue dye, and then we should have everything for the blueprint ready to go. Perfect. Now, to actually make these molds, I do believe, yeah, we're going to need steel plates here. So to start, let's go ahead and make ourselves, I don't know, one of each of those. So maybe, well, steel is still pretty expensive for us, so maybe we don't do one of each. Let's see. How much steel do we have on hand? Let's do a few of them. Let's do 3 of those molds. We'll figure this out as we go. I think what we'll end up doing is we'll do the metal plate, we will do the wire, and I don't know if we should do the rod or the gear. Maybe we do the gear just to save ourselves a little bit of ingredients over time. Let's see. We have our wire cutters in the backpack, so we should be able to then take that and our steel plates, replace the recipe, and do ourselves, but if I remember correctly, it's going to make all of them if we put all of them in there. Like, it's going to use all of the plates. I think that was a bug, I remember. So instead, we just put just the ones that we need. So let's do the gear for now. The rod is the only other thing that I need at the moment. We'll swap that back out. Okay, great. And now we have an easier way of making metal press pieces, especially the wires. This is going to be the most efficient way of us making wires. So I'm going to go ahead and slap this in here real quick. There we go. So what do we need next? Well, it's a good thing that we made that for wires because we need processor binding. And in this pack, the recipe for that is a little weird. It's slime balls and lead wire. Now, we don't have an infinite source of slime right now that I can think of. There's some ways that we could do it with magma cream, so I've been making dough and mixing it with lime dye, because that's the easiest way. If I had more cactus, I could just dump it into some sort of an automation using our mana pool, but our cactus is not growing very quickly, even with the snad. I have not figured out quite what's going on with that, but in the meantime, I should be able to just toss this into one of these. I think it's this one, yeah. This is another way that we can get slime balls really easily here. So slime balls and lead wire. Now that means, let me double check that that's lead. Is it lead, not aluminum? Yeah, it's lead. Okay, so let's grab up our lead here and we are gonna cook this up. Let's do 24 lead. That seems overkill, but you know, we'll be fine. And then we are going to put this into our blowers again as well. This is the easiest way for us right now to be cooking things down into actual ingots. So we just hang out for a second, watch that pop. Any moment now. There we go. Perfect. Turn it back off. Trying to conserve as much power as we can here, folks. And then all we have to do is dump it onto our press here. So let's just do this. And grab it off the other end. Great. Oh, and that makes a lot of them too. That's wonderful. Let's go ahead and make 32 for now, and that completes that quest. Great. So processor binding we are then going to use to make our various processors. And so we are almost ready to make our machine frame. Now, unfortunately, the thing that we need to do here before we can make the machine frame is make diamonds. So that means we have to get into Pneumaticraft. Not my favorite mod, not by a long shot, but it's going to be fine. We are going to get there. So it looks like we've got a couple of things we need to do here. We need hop graphite. And we need compressed iron to make a pressure chamber. Ah, that's why. Because the first one that we make, we have to use in a heated mixer with steel and hop graphite. And the hop graphite, am I right that it can only be made one way? Yeah, an industrial squeezer. So we need to make an industrial squeezer. Let's add that to the recipe. This requires a lot of blocks for us. This is kind of annoying. So we're going to get started on making all of these various pieces. Let's do the wooden barrel first because that's going to use our treated wood planks. So we can go over here and grab some creosote oil and we can make our first set of treated wood planks. We just wrap the regular planks around that bucket. There we go. We also are going to need to make some treated wood slabs, so we'll do that. You know what? I think we actually are going to need another set of those. We're certainly going to be using creosote oil left and right, so let's go ahead and make another set of those real fast. Great. Okay, all 4 of those are done. Perfect. What's next? We need 6 pieces of steel scaffolding. We can do that real easy. We just need to make a few more of these steel rods. So let's do that. Steel scaffolding. There's all 6. We need 3 steel fences. There we go. Another piston. Good. Let's see here. We have our heavy engineering blocks. Is that what we need for this? Heavy or light? Oh, we need light. So let's see here. Do I have light ones left? I have exactly 2. That is a gimme. We're gonna take that. And what else? Redstone engineering blocks, we have those. Fluid pipes, I guess, is really the only other thing. And I think that's everything. Yeah, it completed the quest, so I'm guessing that's everything that we need for our industrial squeezer. All right, let's build this squeezer real quick here before my little brain forgets how we do it. So I think it's like this, and then like this, and then like this. We do our fluid pipes around the side here, and we do our light engineering block here. Okay, that's the first layer. The next layer, another engineering block goes there, and then we make a square out of our barrels right there. And then a redstone block goes opposite this one. There we go. And let's see, is that it? Oh no, then we still need the piston and we need the fences. So let's, oh, is that piston actually in the middle? Yeah, so what we actually need to do here is put a temporary block on top, like so. And that'll allow us to put the piston facing down. I think that does actually matter, if I remember correctly. Could be wrong, but I think it matters. And then we put those on there, and then we just grab our hammer and give it another good whacking. So right there, perfect. We have ourselves a squeezer. The only problem is that I built the squeezer backwards, so our power is on the wrong side. So I think that this is going to then not like this because the wire will not connect. Let's see here. Where are our extra wires? There we go. So I think it's not going to connect to this one because it's going to be... Nope, it will connect. Perfect. It doesn't matter if it goes through itself. Apparently that's going to work wonderful for us. Okay, so now we should be able to use that to get our hop graphite. So hop graphite... We are going to cook graphite dust, and that is going to use coke dust. Coke dust we put into the crusher. Okay, wonderful. So let's go get some of our coal coke. We're going to get 8 pieces of that out of here, assuming we have 8. We do indeed have more than 8, and we're going to throw that into the crusher. Hopefully we don't have ourselves fall into the crusher this time, as we have done so frequently in the past in these packs. And here we go. 6, 7, and 8. Great. There's our coal dust. We put that into the squeezer. Okay, and there it goes. There is our hop graphite dust. We can then use that to smelt. Oh, can we cook this in our... Yeah, we can bulk blast it. Let's go bulk blast it. I like doing that when we can instead. I think that's a better way to go. So we'll put this in here, turn this on, and then we will have our ingot. Not quite. Give it another second. All right, there is our hop ingot, and then we use that in the mixer, right? No, we don't need HV accumulator. Mixing, so we need a steel ingot. So let's go grab one of those, and we'll also get some coal to feed our buddy there. So steel, where's the steel? There we go. Give me one of those. And then we'll grab a piece of coal up. And let's see here, we're just going to throw you right into there. So that goes in, and then we put a piece of coal in here. Great, and there is our first compressed iron ingot. Wonderful. And with this, we should be able to make quite a few things. I think the first thing we're going to do is use it to make our reinforced stone. So I think we have a bunch of stone left, do we? Yeah, we got a lot of stone left. So let's do a circle of stone. Circle of stone all the way around that compressed bit, and then we can make the reinforced bricks with the compressed iron. And this we then use, let's see here, to make our first air compressor. Is that right? Yeah, we make our air compressor and our pressure chamber wall. Wonderful. Only I'm realizing this is not enough actually for everything that we need. So let's go ahead and make up the first set, and then I'm gonna go run and make another set here of that same, the compressed iron, because that's apparently what we need. Apparently we need more than what we've got. So since coal coke is taking a very long time in the coke oven, we are going to do it the advanced way, which is we are going to use a monopool with blaze mesh on the bottom instead. So that gets us a whole bunch of it, but I'm going to make us even more here. Just need to go grab my wand of the forest right here off this, and then make my endo flames burn up a whole lot more. So let me do that real quick, and that should put us a little bit closer to being on track. We're just going to drop a stack here, and of course we are going to take advantage of our bag of time, whatever we're calling this, the temporal pouch, okay, to do this real quick for us. All right, a bunch more compressed steel now made as a result of that. That was the quick way. I should have been doing that from the start, but for whatever reason, I was not doing that from the start. We're actually going to need a lot more of these pneumatic tubes, so I'm going to go ahead and make a little bit more here. And I don't think that recipe changes throughout the game, so unfortunately we are going to need to keep making those. Let's see here, what else do we need? We need some reinforced bricks, so we are going to make those with our reinforced stone. Perfect. And then we can turn that into, there we go, reinforced bricks, just like that. And now all we need to do is make ourselves a furnace, and we should be able to make our basic air compressor. Wonderful. Okay, so we've got this. Oh, and we also get the Pneumaticraft manual, so that's going to be helpful here. Now we need to make ourselves a pressure chamber. This is a little annoying, so we're going to need 22 pressure chamber wall, some pressure chamber glass, a valve, and an interface. So let's go ahead and add all of that to our shopping list. Pressure chamber. So we've got the first bit of pressure chamber wall. So let's go ahead and make ourselves another set of reinforced stone. We're going to reinforce that into bricks immediately, and those bricks we will turn into even more of our pressure chamber walls. So there we go. There's the 32 here. That's part of it. Then we need to make ourselves the glass. So it looks like we can just do that with pressure chamber wall bits. So, is that going to cut into the number we need? No, we'll still have plenty. We need to make our valve. Do we just need the one? I think we need two for this to work. So let's go ahead and make extras. And then we need the interface, which also we are going to need extras of. So let's make ourselves a lovely, lovely hopper real quick. There we go. There's a hopper, and then we'll make our interface just like that. Perfect. So that should be everything that we need to make our first pressure chamber. We're going to put this over here near our other power supply. And now I just have to remember how to actually make one of these. Let's go ahead and combine our manual real quick. We'll need to empty this out. Let's see, how do we do that? Shift right click. There we go, shift left click actually. Combine that into our tome, and now we can take a look at our manual. We are also going to need a pressure gauge before I forget. That's going to be really, really important for us. And we're also going to need a good stack of redstone. So let me grab up a stack of redstone while we're at it so that we can control things a little bit better, because we want to make sure that this does not explode at any point. Okay, so looking at the number of blocks that we have here, I am guessing that they expect us to make a 3x3 pressure chamber here. So this works just like most of our other multi-blocks for storage and whatnot. Something like that will work well for us. Actually, we might need even more pressure chamber wall than that, but we'll find out really quick. Let's see here. So then we need to put a valve. We'll put a valve here. We need an inlet and an outlet, so we'll do the interfaces. We'll do one here, and we'll do another over here. That should give us enough room to work with that. And actually, it looks like we can do multiple interface. Oh, was that the wrong one? That was the wrong one. We want to do interface. There we go. And this we will then do as an interface as well. We should be able to do this and then these. Yeah, there we go. Now we have a complete pressure chamber, even if we can't see inside to know what's going on. Wonderful. All right. So we are going to need to start getting some pressure into that thing. So let's put down our pressure chamber here, or our pressurizer, our air compressor. Put it there. And luckily we made some extra pressure tubes, so we can do this here. We have to use the pressure gauge to make a tube module. So it is this one. There we go. Pressure gauge tube module. Perfect. Then we put that on the side of our pressure pipes here, and that will give us some redstone indication out of that. Actually, you know what? I'm not going to put it there. I'm going to put it one block over here just to give us a little more room to maneuver. Wonderful. And then from there, I believe a redstone signal off of that will then allow us to cut off the power to this, right? I think it's 8 that we need here, 8 or 9. So 1, 2, 3, that's going to be 6. 7, 8, 9. Good. That should do the trick. We are going to say this is enabled on a low signal, I believe. And then all we have to do is give this something to burn. So let's see here. Where is our... Yeah, let's grab some coal here. You know, let's just grab a stack of coal. We've got plenty to go around. And then we're also going to grab up a stack of iron as well. So let's go back over here. And this then gets a stack of coal. There we go. Pressure is starting to climb. We are also going to need a way to get items into and out of this. So let's go ahead and make ourselves up a couple of chests. Okay, so let's go ahead and connect up our item tubes. We are going to need our pipe wrench for that. Easy enough. I think this is in and that is out. I think that's correct. Let's see here. Yeah, yellow is out, so we will take items from there. We will insert items here, and that means we just need to put a bunch of iron in here. So hopefully, well, I hear something happening, and it looks like it's not high enough pressure yet to make these. I think it has to get to 2.0 before we are going to be able to make that into compressed iron. So we're just gonna have to hang out and wait for that to finish, which should be in a short second. Oh, I'm hearing popping. I'm hearing popping, so something is happening. Ah, there we go. Slowly but surely it's coming back out. Oh, it looks like it had to go to the 5 bar mark, maybe not the 2 bar mark. Now, the other thing we want to make here is going to be a diamond, and for that we need 8 blocks of coal. So that's going to be a rather big pain, let's be honest. We don't love that. So let's go ahead and grab up a bunch of coal, and with that we will then be able to make 9 blocks of coal, just like this. So with that we can make 64 blocks of coal. That will only give us 8 diamonds. That's not ideal. That's not ideal, friends. But at least it is a starting point for diamond in general. 1 diamond. Okay, there we go. There is our first diamond finally made, and this quest is now complete. So now we are ready to move on to the machine frame, which we are going to use for all of our thermal machines, if I remember correctly. Machine frame, yeah, that's right. Okay, so machine frame, we need a construction core and a machine casing. Oh, we need a diamond gear, so we do need 4 diamonds bare minimum here for that to work. And we also are going to need a construction core, which we make with a basic processor, and that, oh, we do not need diamond for. So let's go ahead and set everything else up while the rest of our diamonds do their thing. Back to construction cores, where were we? Yes, we just need a raw basic processor. Let's go ahead and make a couple of these because I'm sure we're going to use them. We will then, oh, can we cook these in our bulk blasting? Of course we can. Of course we can bulk blast these. Let's turn on our system, get those bulk blasted up. All right, come on. There we go, basic processors, done, good. And now we can use those to make our cores here. So construction core, we just need some glowstone dust. Got plenty of that laying around somewhere. Yeah, here we go. So we can put those together really easily. There's our construction core, great. And now what we need to do is make our machine casing, which means we need to make a gear, a diamond gear. And we'll just do it just like this. Okay, great. And that needs an aluminum scaffolding as well, which means we need aluminum rods. We can make some of those real easily, and then we can make our aluminum scaffolding. Oh, but we are out of aluminum. So let's grab up our aluminum and make some more here. We'll take a stack of that, and we will turn that to raw aluminum, and we will blast that. Okay, there is our aluminum scaffolding. And so now we just need to do some deploying. So let's go ahead and just take one of these, and we will grab that and put it into our deployer here, and we will put the gear on the hand. There we go. And now we put a construction core on that. And we have our machine frame, and that completes most of the items in this quest. Let's see what we need to get these last few items. We need a compactor, an extendo grip, and an entangled block. Alright, so let's start with the Entangled Block first. I think that is going to be the most complicated one for us because we need obsidian and we need ender pearls. So first we can make the ender pearls pretty easily. We just turn our nuggets into gas tiers, and then those gas tiers we can then throw into a alchemy catalyst monopool to turn them into our ender pearls. So let's throw those in. There we go. That's, oh, it doesn't look like it's enough power for all of those. Only one. Let me go make a little bit more juice for us. All right, and there is our fourth ender pearl, and it's going to take us a little while to get enough to get 4 more of those, so we're just going to start there. While we're at it, hey, a big shout out to Blackest Dawn, who always leaves me amazing tips and comments. 2 big Botania tips that one I didn't know and one I had forgotten. The first one is you can plant petals directly, and thanks to this pack we can twerk to grow those, and those grow into full-size tall mystical flowers. You don't even need shears to cut the mystical flowers in this pack, you can just do it normally. The other big thing, because I did have to scale up my number of endoflames dramatically here, I also can right-click on a petal apothecary to repeat the last recipe that you had created. Now, I've done a couple of things since then, so it's forgotten the recipe, but whatever the last thing is that you created, if you have all the items in your inventory, it'll stick them in here, and that's how we made all of these extra endoflames to get this pool filled up nice and quickly. So, now we have all of our ender pearls. That means we are just about ready to make our entangled block. The other thing we are now missing is a block of obsidian. Now, the easiest way to make obsidian is to pour some lava and then turn it into a block of obsidian with water on top of it. We can do that in a barrel. I think that's going to be easier than trying to mine it. So let's go ahead and do that real quick. I think I am going to need a little bit more cobblestone, so we'll put that in our hand here. Yeah, we don't have quite enough of that, so let's go ahead and drop this in here. That is the wrong way to do that. We're going to speed up our production significantly here. There we go, great. So let's just do this a bucket at a time here. We're going to take a bucket of lava, we're going to put that in our stone barrel, and then we're going to put our water right on top of that, and that's going to, oh no, break all of our redstone and everything else. That is less than ideal. Hopefully we can be a little quicker next time about getting that back up. So let's try this one more time. Put our lava in the bucket. We are going to put our water down and then immediately pick it back up. There we go. There's 2 blocks of obsidian, and then we just repeat this process over and over again until we have what we are looking for. Great. That is the easiest way to make obsidian, aside from the magma crucible that I have found. Really love having that recipe in this pack. All right, and I think all we're missing now, yep, we just need a chest, which honestly might be the hardest part of this. So let's grab ourselves a bunch of planks, and there we go, 1 chest, and now we have an entangled block. Great. Okay, so that is 1 quest done. I'm not sure what we do with that, aside from apparently throw it over there, but we will find out between episodes. Compactor, again, I don't really know what this does, so it'll be a learning opportunity for us. We're going to need 4 pistons for this, so all we are missing is the planks there. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, great. We are going to need 1 crafting table. That is going to be easy for us. There we go. And now all we need to do is surround that in redstone. And there is a compactor. And then the last thing we need is the Extendo grip, and we have to make that in a mechanical crafter. Let me assemble all these pieces and we will do that real quick. All right, so we put the brass ingot on top here. We put the precision mechanism underneath that. We then use 6 sticks, and we need a brass hand at the bottom. Push the button. Oh, we need to turn this on first. There we go. Push the button, and this should all nicely come together, just like so. And perfect. We should then have our Extendo grip, and that should complete the last of these quests. Oh, nope. 1 left. Alright, only 1 quest left to complete, and that is to take a piece of our hop graphite dust, which we have made a lot of already this episode, and make a blacker Lotus. Wonderful. Okay, and that completes all of the quests. Well, friends, we got a lot done today. I think next episode we are going to use that lovely machine frame so that we can start doing some automated crafting of the ingredients that you can see behind me here. I am sick and tired of having to go through, having to put all those things together manually and then smelt them down. We're going to do a whole bunch of auto crafting, I think, to get things started and to get our resources allocated for the next few quests we're going to need. So, thanks again for watching Enterprise Architecture, and we'll see you back here next time. Bye, friends!